What is going on? So I have three pretty amazing premium quality folding knives that I'm going to be showing you today. Let's just get right into it. So the first one I'm going to talk to you about is the James brand Carter. We have the satin finished drop point blade, which is constructed from VG10 steel. The scales are micarta, which offer pretty great ergonomics. The backspacer is also micarta. We have the deep carry pocket clip, which does work very well, and it is reversible actually. And as far as Axis style locks go, this is a pretty great feeling Axis style lock. It's extremely easy to manipulate. You can even deploy the blade from the Axis lock. But you can also deploy the blade obviously from this thumb disc here, which normally I'm not a huge fan of thumb discs, but this thumb disc is positioned well enough so the reverse flick is extremely doable. The thumb flick is not bad. Kind of takes a little bit to get used to. At first I was trying to thumb flick it like this with the flesh of my thumb, but I realized if you kind of just use your thumbnail, it flies out a little better. And you can get these on Knife Center for about $150, which I think is a pretty reasonable price for this knife. I think this is a really good quality knife. The fit and finish is super on point. Blade is rock solid, no blade play. When I first heard about James brand, I heard a lot of hate towards them. People were talking about how they're basically just budget quality knives and they're way overpriced, but this is my first time handling a James brand knife, and I think that this one is pretty sweet. And I think that 150 bucks is a pretty reasonable price for this. And then the next knife I want to talk about is the Brian Brown Raptor V2. We have the drop point blade with the satin finish. The blade is super sleek. We have the bronze anodized hardware and thumb studs. The blade is constructed from M390 steel. These scales are titanium. As you can see, it has a pretty thin handle design. So if you're someone with bigger hands or with thicker, meatier fingers, it may feel a little thin in your hand, but I personally have kind of thinner fingers. I think it feels pretty great ergonomically. The lock bar is very accessible. There isn't really an access cutout for the lock, as you can see, but it's not really needed. You can easily get to it. Blade is very smooth, almost drops shut. The pivot is smooth, is what I should say. We have this nice jimping on the back of the blade, and the finger choil allows for you to be able to choke up for more precise cutting. I think these milled holes in the handle are pretty sweet. You can get this knife in several different versions. I was just looking on Knife Center. They're like $375, a little pricey, but this is definitely a premium quality knife. But you can get a version with the titanium with the carbon fiber inserts on the handle, which look pretty sweet. But I definitely like this version. It has the matte anodized bronze hardware, the pocket clip. The pocket clip is actually not anodized, but the backspacer, the pivot collar, and the thumb stud is anodized. Something cool about this knife, there's no branding or logo on the blade, which I think is pretty sleek. It's kind of unique. Usually knives have the brands or logo on the blade. He decided to put his little logo right there on the lock bar, which is unique. I can appreciate that. Then the last knife I'm going to show you here, this is the Spartan Harsey folder. I saved this one for last because this is my personal favorite and it's also the most expensive for obvious reasons. This thing is a freaking beast of a folding knife. Spartan blades are known for their tactical designs, which this is definitely more of a tactical design, but it can be used for a number of different EDC tasks. We have the stonewashed drop point S45VN steel. We have the very nice aggressive jimping on the back of the blade and the scale, which aid in just the overall grip. Extremely ergonomic. We have these nice finger divots, which do feel really nice in the hand. We have the pretty cool and unique pocket clip, which is reversible. Not deep carry, but not a huge deal. Now they have two different sizes of the Spartan Harsey folder. They have a smaller version. This is indeed the larger version. I have not actually handled the smaller version, but if I were to get one, I think I might prefer a smaller version, though I have heard that the smaller versions are just a little too small, and that these versions are just, the larger version here is just a little bit too big, but I don't think this is too big in my opinion. I could see myself carrying it. It's not too heavy. Definitely a folding knife I could rely on. The lock bar is pretty accessible. The blade isn't like drop shut or anything. The action isn't super smooth, but once you get it down, it's pretty easy to deploy, and I'm sure that could probably be adjusted with adjusting the pivot. And this knife does go for about 550 bucks, pretty pricey of a folding knife. I'm not one to want to spend that much on a folding knife, unless it's like an extremely rare occasion and it's just like a knife that I absolutely need, which I have done that before actually, so no judgment if that's something you want to do. These are available in several different versions, several different scale patterns. They have a whole bunch of cool designs you can get for the scales. I'm not sure about the blade finishes. I'm pretty sure all the blades come with the stonewash finish. So let me know in the comments which of these three folding knives you're most likely to carry or purchase. I think if I had to choose one just right now, I probably would choose the Brian Brown Raptor. It's just more my style, more practical, though not to hate on either of these two, because these two are also very amazing folding knives that would be an excellent addition to anyone's knife collection. You might be wondering about these two beastly fixed blades back here. We have the Lynn Thompson Cold Steel Signature Series Bowie, and then we have the Tops Tahoma Field Knife. Both of those fixed blades I have full in-depth review and testing videos. I will put the links to those videos pinned in the description. And then I also have a video showing you exactly how to step-by-step sharpen any knife with the Worksharp Field Sharpener here. Probably the most handy and useful sharpener that you can get. Extremely affordable. Takes a little bit of a learning curve to get a hang of it, so if you want to learn how exactly to do that, the link to that video will also be in the description. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my daily EDC content. Peace.